computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
Hello dear listener, and welcome to episode 88 of Life Through a Prism with your host Rob Tierney. In this episode we're going to look at something a bit different. In the 21st century, would you think that a credit card company would disallow you to purchase a game you wanted to buy if they so choose? Well, it's a reality. Today's article comes from thatparkplace.com, entitled Visa and MasterCard are reportedly censoring video games alongside Australian activist group Collective Shout. This is by Marvin Montenero, dated July 21st, 2025. Visa and MasterCard are reportedly censoring video games alongside activist groups like Collective Shout. In the digital age where video games represent a multi-billion-dollar industry blending art, entertainment and expression, a new front in the battle over content control has emerged. Payment processors like Visa and MasterCard, wielding immense economic leverage, are increasingly dictating what games can be sold on platforms like Steam, effectively censoring the video game industry. At the heart of this controversy is Collective Shout, an Australian feminist activist group that has positioned itself as a catalyst, pressuring those financial giants to enforce moral standards on global gaming. As of July 21st, 2025, this alliance has led to the removal of hundreds of adult-themed games, sparking outrage over free speech, cultural imperialism and corporate overreach. This isn't just about niche content. It's a symptom of a broader trend where private companies act as de facto censors, bypassing governments and courts. While proponents frame it as a victory for child safety and against exploitation, critics argue it's selective moralism that ignores real harms while targeting fictional works, potentially paving the way for wider restrictions on creative freedom. The spark: Steam's sudden purge. The controversy surrounding Visa and MasterCard supposedly censoring video games ignited in mid-July 2025, when Valve, the company behind Steam, the world's largest PC gaming platform, updated its publisher guidelines to prohibit, quote, content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors and or banking partners, unquote. Close quotes. Almost immediately, nearly 500 games, primarily Japanese visual novels and adult-style titles, tagged with controversial themes were delisted. Valve confirmed that credit card companies, including Visa and MasterCard, had flagged these games as violative of their internal policies, threatening to disrupt payment processings if they weren't removed. This wasn't isolated. Developers reported similar pressures on other platforms, with payment holds and content bans rippling through indie scenes. In Japan, where many affected games originate, lawmakers like Taro Yamamada have launched investigations into whether these actions constitute unfair trade practices, viewing them as an assault on cultural exports. Nier creator Yoko Taro publicly decried the changes, stating they demonstrate how one country's standards can, quote, censor another country's free speech, end quote. Collective Shout, the activist catalyst. Enter Collective Shout, a supposed grassroots organisation founded in 2009 to combat the objectification of women in media. Based in Australia, a nation with stringent content laws, the group has a history of successful campaigns, including pressuring retailers like Target to pull Grand Theft Auto 5 from shelves in 2014 over what they deemed inappropriate elements. In this case, Collective Shout openly claimed responsibility for Steam's purge, boasting of reducing specific game tags from nearly 500 to 82. Their strategy? Bypassing platforms and developers to target payment processors directly. By flooding Visa, MasterCard and even PayPal with complaints, petitions and accusations of facilitating violent content, Collective Shout exploited the company's brand protection policies, drawing on feminist theories that equate such content with real crimes. The group framed these games not as fiction, but as enablers of criminal activity. They celebrated the bans, and I can't read what they said, but as a victory against blank, sick brain rotted blank, gamer blank, while reporting backlash including threats and harassment. Payment processors as moral gatekeepers. Visa and MasterCard's role is pivotal, given their near duopoly on global payments, processing over 90% of credit card transactions. Their policies prohibit facilitating high-risk content even in fantasy. This financial deplatforming echoes past actions. In 2021, MasterCard imposed strict moderation on adult subscription websites, leading to content purges on Patreon and Gumroad. In Japan, Visa's local CEO justified blocking legal content for brand protection in late 2024. By threatening to withhold services, these processors force platforms like Steam into compliance, as losing them could cripple revenue. Europe's antitrust curbs on Visa and MasterCard offer a precedent, but in the US and elsewhere their powers remains unchecked, raising monopoly concerns. Broader implications and historical patterns. This censorship was disproportionately hit Japanese creators, whose cultural norms around fiction differ from Western ones. It echoes globalization pressures where US-based companies impose standards on international content, akin to past localization edits in anime and manga. Fears abound that it won't stop at niche games. Mainstream titles like Grand Theft Auto could be next if themes draw scrutiny. Public and industry backlash. The response has been swift and fierce. A Change.org petition urging Visa, MasterCard and activist groups to stop controlling what we can watch, read or play has garnered thousands of signatures. Influencers like Moise Critical and Asmongold have amplified calls for an antitrust action against the payment duopoly. On X, users decry the moves as, quote, Australian radicalism, unquote, imposing on global platforms, with some tagging Elon Musk for intervention via X's potential payment system. A VTuber raised over $780 for the ACLU in an anti-censorship fundraiser, highlighting community resistance. Gamers advocate boycotts, prepaid cards or alternative processors, while developers explore blockchain or indie marketplaces. Looking ahead, a call for change. As investigations unfold in Japan and petitions gain steam, the future hinges on regulatory pushback. Antitrust probes could break Visa and MasterCard's grip, while new laws might protect artistic expression from financial vetoes. Until then, collective shout's role as catalyst underscores a troubling truth. In a cashless world, payment processors hold the keys to culture. This saga isn't just about games, it's about who controls narrative in a connected world. As Yoko Taro warned, unchecked censorship risks erasing diverse voices, one transaction at a time. So there you go, listeners. We're going to revisit this in future episodes. There's been more development, and we're going to see where this leads. So let's look at a different situation, and I know this might sound a bit silly, but I'm wanting to look at it this way. Now, if I went to a hamburger place and I didn't like what they were serving and I didn't like eating it, and I pressured the burger franchise all over the world to stop selling the burgers because I find their product uneatable, I'm trying to dictate what people should or should not eat because of my tastes. It seems that when these groups start and have a genuine desire to make something better, a sense of power comes, and by dipping their toes into the kiddie swimming pool and having a victory gives them a false sense of confidence that their thinking is the only right thinking. Would you be happy if your credit card company told you could not purchase something because a small group of people want to control what you buy? Would love to hear what you have to say. Let's have a conversation. Before I finish today's episode, I would just like to ask if you've enjoyed this podcast and enjoy the free content I create. Could you please give a like and consider subscribing? The podcast is not only on Spotify, but Apple and YouTube as well. In regards to YouTube, they have changed the algorithm that if there is not listener engagement, i.e. likes or subscribe, the podcast is less likely to turn up in searches. I'm not asking you to do that, but if you do like the podcast, I would appreciate any help to get the podcast out there. Also now the podcast is a webpage, and the links to all these will be in the show notes. I enjoy creating this content for you, and it helps me be motivated to continue to make great content in the future. Till next time, take care, and bye for now.